My fiancé's bachelor party made me cancel the wedding, and now his friends are trying to sabotage my life. Hey Reddit, I honestly never thought I'd be posting here, but I really need to get this off my chest. I'm a 28-year-old woman, and I just called off my wedding with my 30-year-old fiancé, Tyler, because of what happened at his bachelor party. I know, it sounds extreme, but let me tell you why I did it. Tyler and I have been together for 5 years, and we were supposed to get married in 2 weeks. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but whose is? We had our ups and downs, like any couple, but I always thought we had a strong foundation built on trust, communication, and love. I thought I knew him, but apparently, I was dead wrong. Tyler's best friend, Ryan, has always been a bit of a wild card. He's the kind of guy who loves to push boundaries, but Tyler assured me that Ryan was harmless. Despite my reservations, I let it slide because Tyler and Ryan have been friends since childhood. They're practically brothers. Fast forward to last weekend, Tyler's bachelor party. I didn't want to be the kind of fiancé who micromanages, so I trusted Tyler when he said it would be a low-key weekend with the guys at a cabin upstate. No strippers, no drugs, just a bunch of dudes hanging out and drinking beer. He even showed me the Airbnb listing for the cabin. It looked quaint and isolated, nothing like the typical bachelor party scene. Everything seemed fine until Tyler came back home on Sunday night. He was off. He was unusually quiet and avoided eye contact with me, which is very unlike him. When I asked how the weekend went, he mumbled something about it being fine and then went to bed early. I didn't push him, thinking he was just tired or hungover, but my gut told me something wasn't right. The next day, I got a text from my friend Jenna, who's dating one of Tyler's groomsmen, Alex. She told me she needed to talk to me about something important. We met up for coffee, and that's when my entire world came crashing down. Jenna, who was visibly upset, told me that Alex had come home drunk and spilled the details of the bachelor party. Apparently, the low-key weekend was anything but. Ryan had hired not one, but 3 strippers to come to the cabin. But it didn't stop there. According to Alex, there was a lot of cocaine and other drugs involved. The guys were out of control, and Tyler was right in the middle of it. The worst part? Tyler allegedly hooked up with one of the strippers. I felt like I was going to throw up. I didn't want to believe it, but Jenna was so insistent and apologetic that I knew she wasn't lying. Alex even showed her some photos and videos from the night, which she didn't want to see but couldn't unsee once she did. She described one of the photos to me, Tyler sitting in a hot tub with one of the strippers straddling him while he snorted a line of cocaine off her chest. I felt like my heart was being ripped out of my chest. I confronted Tyler that night, and at first, he denied everything. But when I told him I knew about the photos, his face went pale. He finally admitted that things had gotten out of hand but swore up and down that he didn't sleep with anyone. He said he was drunk, that Ryan and the others pressured him into doing things he wouldn't normally do, and that it didn't mean anything. I was furious. How could he do this to me? 2 weeks before our wedding, he decided to throw away everything we had built together for a night of debauchery. I told him I needed some time to think and left to stay with my sister for a few days. Tyler has been blowing up my phone ever since, begging me to forgive him, promising that he'll do whatever it takes to make things right. But how can I trust him after this? To make matters worse, Ryan and some of Tyler's other friends have been harassing me, saying that I'm overreacting and that boys will be boys. They've been calling me, leaving nasty voicemails, and even posting passive-aggressive comments on social media. Ryan even had the audacity to show up at my sister's house, where I'm staying, to talk some sense into me. My sister's husband had to practically throw him out. I'm at a loss here. I love Tyler, or at least the person I thought he was, but I don't know if I can go through with the wedding. Trust is everything in a relationship, and right now, I don't have any. My friends and family are divided, some are telling me to forgive him and move on, while others are saying I'd be crazy to marry him after what he did. Reddit, what should I do? Am I overreacting? Should I give him another chance, or is this a sign that the marriage would be doomed from the start? Update 1. First of all, thank you to everyone who commented on my original post. I've read every single one, even the harsh ones, and I appreciate the advice and support more than you know. It's been a whirlwind of emotions over the past few days, but I finally made a decision. I called off the wedding. I know some of you might think that's an overreaction, but after everything that's happened, I just couldn't go through with it. I deserve better than a man who would betray my trust so easily. I haven't told Tyler yet, he's still under the impression that I'm just cooling off at my sister's place, but I know I need to do it soon. My family and closest friends are all on board with my decision, and they've been incredibly supportive, which makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing. I also found out something else that solidified my choice. Jenna met up with Alex again and managed to get her hands on some of the photos and videos from the bachelor party. I didn't want to see them, but she described them to me in even more detail, and it turns out Tyler's involvement was worse than I originally thought. One of the videos shows him making out with one of the strippers, and another shows him taking a body shot off another girl. He was clearly enjoying himself, not just being pressured as he claimed. I've started the process of canceling the wedding, which is a nightmare in itself. We're losing deposits left and right, and I feel awful about it, but I know it's the right thing to do. I'm also considering legal action against Ryan for harassment, especially after he tried to barge into my sister's house. It's all just so overwhelming. Tyler's been trying to get in touch with me constantly. I've gotten dozens of texts and voicemails from him, all saying the same thing, that he's sorry, that he messed up, that he loves me, and that he'll do anything to make it right. He even showed up at my sister's house yesterday, and I had to have my brother-in-law tell him to leave. He was crying and begging me to just talk to him, but I couldn't face him. Not yet. I'm planning to meet him in person to officially end things, but I'm dreading it. I know it's going to be painful, but I need to do it for my own sanity. I'm also going to ask for the ring back, which I know is going to be awkward, but it's expensive, and I need to recoup some of the costs from this disaster of a wedding. Honestly, Reddit, I'm scared. I've never been on my own before. I've been with Tyler since I was 23, and before that, I was in a long-term relationship. The thought of starting over at 28 is terrifying, but I know it's better than staying with someone who betrayed me so deeply. I'll update again after I talk to Tyler. Thank you all again for your support, it means the world to me. Update 2. Well, I finally did it. I met up with Tyler yesterday to officially call off the wedding, and it was even worse than I expected. I'm emotionally drained, but I need to get this out while it's still fresh in my mind. We met at a park near my sister's house. I chose a public place because, frankly, I didn't trust myself to be alone with him after everything that's happened. When I arrived, Tyler was already there, sitting on a bench, looking like he hadn't slept in days. He stood up when he saw me, and the first thing he said was, "Please, don't do this." I told him we needed to talk, and he immediately started apologizing again, saying all the things I'd already heard in his voicemails and texts. He said he was sorry, that he'd made a terrible mistake, that he was willing to go to therapy, quit drinking, whatever it took. He even suggested we elope to avoid the embarrassment of a cancelled wedding. But I'd already made up my mind. I told him that what he did at the bachelor party wasn't just a mistake, it was a betrayal of our relationship, of the trust and respect we were supposed to have for each other. I told him that I couldn't marry someone who could hurt me like that, and that calling off the wedding was the only option. Tyler broke down. He started crying, and I could tell he was genuinely devastated, but it didn't change anything for me. I was sad, too. I loved this man, and it hurt like hell to end things, but I knew I couldn't stay with him. Not after everything. When I asked for the ring back, he looked at me like I'd slapped him. He said he thought I'd come to give him another chance, not to take the ring back. I told him that I needed to move on, and the ring was part of that. He hesitated, but eventually, he took it off and handed it to me. I could barely look at him as I took it. As I was leaving, he grabbed my hand and begged me to stay, just to talk a little longer. He kept saying he loved me, that he'd never forgive himself if I walked away. I told him I loved him too, but that love wasn't enough to fix this. He let go of my hand, and I walked away without looking back. Now that it's over, I feel a strange mix of relief and grief. I'm relieved that I stood my ground, that I didn't let myself be swayed by his apologies. But I'm also grieving the life we were supposed to have, the future we had planned. It feels like a death, in a way, a death of the relationship, of the person I thought Tyler was. As for Ryan, I've blocked him on everything and warned him that if he tries to contact me again, I'll involve the police. I'm done with his toxic influence, and I want nothing to do with anyone who thinks what happened at that bachelor party was acceptable. I'm going to take some time to heal and focus on myself. I've already started looking for a new apartment, and I'm planning to take a trip somewhere, maybe Europe, to clear my head. Update 3. Hey Reddit, it's been a couple of weeks since my last update, and I wanted to check in one last time. I'm in a much better place now, and I've had some time to reflect on everything that's happened. After I ended things with Tyler, I moved into a new apartment across town. It's small, but it's mine, and I'm finding comfort in the process of making it my own. I've thrown myself into work, started taking yoga classes, and reconnected with old friends I'd lost touch with over the years. It feels good to focus on myself for a change. Tyler and I haven't spoken since that day in the park, but I know he's still out there, still trying to reach me. I've changed my number and blocked him on every platform, but he's persistent. I've heard from mutual friends that he's been asking about me, trying to find out where I'm living now. They say he's a mess, that he's not the same person anymore, and that he's desperate to get back together. Some of them even tried to play matchmaker, telling me he's changed, that he's getting help, that he just wants to talk. But I know better. I know this isn't over. There have been a few unsettling incidents lately, like my car getting keyed while parked outside my new apartment, and a bouquet of flowers left at my door with no note. At first, I thought it was just a coincidence, but now I'm not so sure. I'm doing my best to move on, but it's hard when I feel like he's always just around the corner, watching, waiting for a chance to pull me back into his life. I also wanted to share something unexpected that's come out of this whole ordeal. I've reconnected with an old friend, Mark, who reached out to me after hearing about the canceled wedding. We've been talking a lot, and he's been a great support system for me. I'm not rushing into anything, but it's nice to have someone who genuinely cares about me without any drama or baggage. But even with Mark, I can't shake the feeling that Tyler is lurking, waiting for me to slip up, to show a sign of weakness. I wish I could end this update on a positive note, with a neat bow tied around this chapter of my life. But the truth is, I don't know what's going to happen next. I'm trying to stay strong, trying to move forward, but Tyler isn't making it easy. Every time I think I'm done with this, something happens to remind me that he's still out there, still obsessed, still refusing to let go. Update 4. Hi Reddit, I really thought my last update would be the end of this nightmare, but I was so wrong. I don't even know where to start because everything feels like it's spiraling out of control again. A few days ago, I was at the grocery store when I felt someone watching me. It was that weird sensation you get when you just know someone is staring. I turned around, and there he was, Tyler, standing at the end of the aisle, just staring at me. My heart dropped. I hadn't seen him in weeks, and suddenly there he was, right in front of me. He didn't say anything at first, just watched me with this intense expression. I was frozen, not knowing what to do. I thought about running, but part of me didn't want to cause a scene in public. Finally, he started walking towards me, and I could see that he wasn't the Tyler I remembered. He looked haggard, his eyes were bloodshot, and he had this manic energy about him that was terrifying. When he reached me, he just said, "Why did you do this to us?" I was so shocked I didn't even respond at first. He kept going, saying that everything that's happened is my fault, that if I had just forgiven him, we could have worked things out. He accused me of ruining his life, of turning everyone against him. He said that he lost his job, that his friends don't want to talk to him anymore, and that it's all because of me. I tried to stay calm and told him that he needed to leave me alone, that we were over and he needed to accept that. But he wasn't listening. He got closer, and I could smell alcohol on his breath. He was shaking with anger, his voice getting louder as he kept blaming me for everything that had gone wrong in his life. I managed to get out of the store, but he followed me to the parking lot, still yelling. People were starting to stare, and I was afraid he was going to do something crazy. I finally snapped and told him that he was the one who destroyed our relationship, not me. That's when he completely lost it. Tyler grabbed my arm and pulled me towards him, saying that if he couldn't have me, then no one would. I've never seen him like this before, and it scared me more than anything. I fought back, trying to get him to let go, and thankfully, a couple of bystanders intervened. They pulled him off me and told him to back off, and someone called the police. He tried to play it off like nothing happened, but I was shaking and on the verge of tears. The police arrived, and I told them everything. Tyler was arrested for assault and harassment, and I was advised to file a restraining order, which I did the next day. But I'm still terrified. What if this isn't enough to stop him? What if he comes after me again? I've been staying with a friend for the past few days because I don't feel safe in my own apartment anymore. I've changed the locks, but that doesn't ease the fear that he might find a way back into my life. I don't know what to do, Reddit. I feel like I'm living in a nightmare that just won't end. I'm not sure what the next steps are. Part of me thinks I need to move far away, to a place where he can't find me, but I know that's not a permanent solution. I'm exhausted, emotionally drained, and constantly looking over my shoulder. I don't know how much more of this I can take. Update 5. I honestly don't know how I'm still functioning, but here I am, writing what I desperately hope will be my last update. Things have taken another turn, and I'm not sure if I'll ever truly be free of Tyler. After the incident at the grocery store, I filed for a restraining order, but it hasn't stopped him. Tyler was released on bail, and somehow, he managed to find out where I was staying. My friend and I came back from dinner one night to find him sitting on the steps of her apartment building, waiting for me. He wasn't yelling this time, he was eerily calm, which somehow made it even worse. He told me that he's lost everything because of me, his job, his friends, his family's respect. He said that all he ever wanted was for us to be together, and that he still couldn't understand why I would throw everything away over one mistake. When I tried to tell him again that what he did wasn't just a mistake, he just shook his head like I was the one who didn't get it. I told him that he needed to leave, that he was scaring me, but he just kept sitting there, staring at me with this cold, empty look. My friend called the police again, and this time they came quickly, but Tyler didn't resist. He just stood up and walked away before they could even get there, saying he'd see me again soon. I don't know how he keeps finding me. I've blocked him, changed my number, moved twice now, and he always seems to know where I am. My friend suggested that he might be tracking me somehow, but I don't know how that's possible. I'm paranoid now, constantly looking over my shoulder, wondering if he's watching me. The police have been helpful, but they can only do so much. They've advised me to stay vigilant and consider more drastic measures, like changing my name or moving out of state. I've started looking into it, but it feels like giving up on my life, on everything I've built. But maybe that's the only way to get away from him for good. I'm so tired. I just want this to end, but I don't see a way out. Tyler isn't going to stop until he's either back in my life or completely ruins it. I wish I had a better ending for this story, but this is my reality now. Please, if you're reading this and thinking about reaching out to an ex or holding on to someone who doesn't want you anymore, don't. Let them go. I wouldn't wish this nightmare on anyone.